Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss authentic leadership, an important leadership approach that focuses on self-awareness, integrity, personal values, and meaningful relationships. This diagram explains the meaning of authenticity and how it influences effective leadership. The first concept focuses on being true to yourself. People often perform different roles in life, and their personalities continue to grow and evolve through new experiences and responsibilities. Authentic leaders understand themselves while remaining open to personal growth and change. The second concept highlights the importance of maintaining balance between thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. Leaders should communicate honestly and behave consistently, but they must also remain professional and thoughtful in different workplace situations. The third concept emphasizes values-based decision-making. Strong personal values help leaders make ethical and responsible decisions. However, leaders must also stay flexible because relying too heavily on old beliefs or past experiences may create difficulties when facing new challenges. Overall, the diagram shows that authentic leadership is not simply about expressing every feeling or opinion. It involves self-awareness, emotional intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to lead with honesty while continuing to learn and grow through experience. Different authors explain authentic leadership from different perspectives, but all of them emphasize self-awareness, values, emotional intelligence, and meaningful relationships. Level 5 Leadership by Collins focuses on professional will and personal humility. These leaders remain disciplined, focused on results, modest, calm, and give credit to others instead of themselves. Primal Leadership by Goleman explains leadership through emotional intelligence. It highlights self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management as important leadership skills that help leaders inspire and positively influence people. Resonant Leadership by Boyatzkis emphasizes mindfulness, compassion, vision, and inspiration. It explains that great leadership is not only about intelligence or hard work, but also about emotional connection and understanding people. Authentic Leadership by George focuses strongly on self-awareness, practicing values and principles, leading with both heart and mind, building lasting relationships, compassion for people, and self-discipline. Together, these leadership approaches show that authentic leadership is built through integrity, emotional awareness, discipline, compassion, and genuine connection with others. People trust leaders who remain genuine, honest, and emotionally aware. Authentic leadership creates stronger teamwork, healthier workplace culture, and deeper connection between leaders and employees. When leaders act with integrity and purpose, they inspire confidence and long-term commitment from others. Authentic leadership teaches that a person does not need to be born with universal leadership traits to become an effective leader. The journey toward authentic leadership begins with understanding the story of your life, overcoming difficult experiences, and using those experiences to create meaning and purpose. Authentic leaders continuously work on understanding and developing themselves. They balance external rewards, such as public recognition and financial success, with deeper internal motivations like personal growth, values, and contribution. Their integrity and authenticity help organizations achieve long-term success during both good and difficult times. Authentic leadership develops through several important practices. Leaders learn from their life stories and become more aware of their authentic selves. They practice their personal values and principles consistently in daily actions and decisions. Authentic leaders also balance extrinsic and intrinsic motivations, build strong support systems, remain grounded, and empower others to lead confidently. These habits help leaders remain ethical, emotionally balanced, and purpose-driven. Authentic leaders understand the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivations. Intrinsic motivations include personal growth, helping others, finding meaning in work, and staying true to personal beliefs. Extrinsic motivations include money, power, titles, public recognition, and social status. Although external rewards can motivate people temporarily, authentic leaders focus more strongly on meaningful contribution and inner purpose. Balancing both types of motivation helps leaders remain successful without losing their authenticity and value. Purpose-driven leaders focus not only on success and recognition, but also on growth, contribution, and positive impact. When leaders remain connected to meaningful goals and values, they create stronger relationships and healthier organizations. Authentic leadership inspires trust, motivation, and long-term commitment. Finding your true north means identifying what truly matters to you beyond external influence and pressure. It involves understanding your values, beliefs, motivations, and sense of purpose. Authentic leaders reflect deeply on what inspires them, what gives meaning to their lives, and how they want to contribute to others. A strong sense of true north acts as an internal compass that guides decisions, helps leaders navigate challenges, and keeps them connected to their authentic identity. One of the most difficult leadership challenges is learning to lead yourself effectively. When people become fully comfortable with who they truly are, leading others authentically becomes much easier. Authentic leaders align themselves and their teams around shared purpose and values. They openly acknowledge mistakes and weaknesses, allowing their humanity and vulnerability to build stronger emotional connection with others. Remaining authentic requires maintaining individuality and staying true to personal values, even during difficult situations. Leadership can sometimes feel lonely, which is why authentic leaders surround themselves with supportive and honest people. Strong support teams provide truthful feedback, emotional support, and valuable perspectives during difficult decisions. These trusted relationships help leaders remain grounded, self-aware, and emotionally balanced. Support systems also encourage leaders to continue growing personally and professionally. No leader succeeds completely alone. Authentic leadership becomes stronger when people build meaningful relationships with mentors, colleagues, friends, and trusted advisors. Honest feedback and emotional support help leaders stay balanced, confident, and connected to their purpose. This image focuses on the idea of peeling back your layers to understand who you truly are. Authentic leadership begins with deep self-understanding. Leaders must carefully examine their thoughts, emotions, behaviors, fears, motivations, strengths, and weaknesses. The visual represents the process of looking beyond external appearance and discovering one's true identity. Authentic leaders become more self-aware when they honestly reflect on their experiences, values, and emotional responses. By understanding themselves deeply, leaders become more confident, emotionally balanced, and capable of making decisions that align with their values and purpose. This self-awareness strengthens authenticity and leadership consistency. Getting to the core of who you are requires honest self-reflection, feedback, and self-acceptance. The first part of the diagram highlights reflection and introspection. Authentic leaders take time to examine their experiences, emotions, values, and behaviors in order to better understand themselves and their personal growth. The second section focuses on feedback. Leaders improve by listening to honest opinions and constructive feedback from colleagues, friends, mentors, and team members. This helps them recognize both strengths and areas that require improvement. The final section emphasizes self-compassion and self-acceptance. Authentic leaders accept their imperfections, learn from mistakes, and continue developing with confidence and emotional maturity. Overall, the diagram shows that self-awareness, continuous learning, and emotional understanding help leaders build stronger relationships and lead with honesty, confidence, and authenticity. Authentic leadership is built on understanding the different layers of a person's personality. At the surface level, individuals may present a professional image, behaviors, and social identity that others can easily observe. However, beneath these outer layers lie deeper levels, such as personal beliefs, emotions, experiences, and core values that truly define who a person is. Authentic leaders make an effort to peel back these layers, to understand their real identity beyond external appearances. By recognizing and integrating all these layers, leaders develop stronger self-awareness, emotional balance, and a more authentic leadership style. This visual explains the core qualities that shape an authentic leader. At the center of the model is the authentic leader, whose leadership is built on self-awareness, values, purpose, relationships, heart, and self-discipline. The diagram shows that authentic leaders are guided by purpose and passion, which help them remain motivated and committed to meaningful goals. Their values influence ethical behavior and decision-making, while strong relationships and connectedness help them build trust and collaboration with others. The model also highlights the importance of heart and compassion, showing that authentic leaders genuinely care about people and understand the emotional impact of leadership. At the same time, self-discipline and consistency help leaders remain stable, reliable, and aligned with their principles, even during difficult situations. Overall, the visual demonstrates that authentic leadership is not based on one single trait. It develops through the balanced combination of purpose, values, compassion, relationships, discipline, and consistent behavior. This leadership journey visual represents the long-term path of personal and professional growth that authentic leaders experience throughout life. The image reflects how leadership develops gradually through experiences, challenges, emotional learning, and continuous self-reflection. Authentic leaders use both successes and failures as opportunities to improve themselves and guide others more effectively. The journey imagery also highlights resilience, patience, and commitment to self-improvement. Strong leadership is not built instantly. It develops over time through learning, adaptation, and staying connected to personal values and purpose. These leadership journey visuals demonstrate that authentic leadership is a lifelong process of growth, self-awareness, and meaningful development. Leadership growth happens over time through experiences, challenges, and continuous learning. Authentic leaders use reflection and self-awareness to improve themselves and create meaningful impact on others. Their journey is guided by purpose, integrity, and emotional strength. The presentation compares two different leadership styles, I leaders and we leaders. I leaders focus mainly on power, personal success, control, and individual recognition. They often prioritize short-term results and prefer leading from the front alone. In contrast, we leaders focus on serving others, empowering teams, and creating shared success. They value humility, teamwork, collaboration, and collective achievement. Authentic leadership is more closely connected with the we leadership approach because it emphasizes purpose, trust, and shared growth. A leader's sweet spot is the powerful intersection of personal motivations and greatest strengths. The visual represents how authentic leaders feel inspired and confident when they work in areas that match both their passions and capabilities. Operating within this sweet spot allows leaders to perform effectively while remaining motivated and fulfilled. The image also highlights the importance of understanding both strengths and weaknesses. By recognizing where they can contribute most effectively, leaders become more focused, productive, and purpose-driven. The idea of motivated capabilities shown in the visual reflects the alignment between inner motivation and strongest abilities. This alignment helps authentic leaders create meaningful impact while remaining true to themselves. Authentic leaders develop several important personal capacities. These include being fully present in the moment, letting go of negative reactions and assumptions, and aligning actions with a higher sense of purpose. Authentic leaders remain emotionally aware, thoughtful, and intentional in their decisions and behaviors. These qualities help leaders stay calm, focused, and connected to both people and organizational goals. Authentic leaders demonstrate three important personal capacities: whole system awareness, compassion, and whole self-awareness. The visual of whole system awareness represents a leader's ability to understand the bigger picture, recognize interconnections within systems, and view situations from multiple perspectives. Authentic leaders understand that people, teams, and organizations are all connected. The compassion imagery reflects kindness, empathy, and acceptance toward both oneself and others. Authentic leaders support people without unnecessary judgment and recognize that everyone is trying to do their best in different situations. The self-awareness visuals emphasize the lifelong process of understanding one's thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and intuition. Authentic leaders continuously reflect on themselves in order to improve emotionally, professionally, and personally. Together, these qualities strengthen emotional intelligence, improve leadership effectiveness, and help leaders build healthier and more supportive environments. Authentic leaders also develop personal power, adaptability, and a sense of humor. They manage challenges thoughtfully, remain comfortable with uncertainty, and consider multiple perspectives before making decisions. A healthy sense of humor and positive attitude help leaders build stronger relationships and supportive workplace environments. Authentic leadership combines emotional intelligence, self-awareness, compassion, and integrity. Leaders who remain adaptable, thoughtful, and connected to people create healthier and more productive workplaces. Strong leadership is not only about achieving results, but also about creating positive human impact. Developing as an authentic leader begins with reflecting on the people and experiences from your early life that had the greatest impact on shaping who you are today. It is important to understand what tools and practices you use for self-awareness and to recognize your authentic self. Those moments when you truly feel, this is the real me. Leaders must also identify their deeply held values, understand where these values come from, and reflect on whether they have changed over time. These values directly influence decisions and actions in leadership. Another key aspect is understanding motivation. Leaders should examine both extrinsic motivations, such as rewards and recognition, and intrinsic motivations, such as purpose and personal growth, and learn how to balance both in their leadership journey. Authentic leadership development continues through deep reflection on your support system, life integration, and personal authenticity. Leaders must evaluate the kind of support team they have and consider how these people help them become more authentic. It is also important to think about how this support system can be diversified to bring broader perspectives. Another key question is whether your life is fully integrated, whether you are the same person in personal, professional, family, and social settings. If not, it is important to understand what is preventing this alignment. Leaders must also reflect on what authenticity truly means in their own life, and whether they are more effective when they act authentically. At times, authenticity may come with challenges or costs. and leaders should consider whether those experiences were worth it. Finally, authentic leadership requires action. Leaders should identify the steps they can take today, tomorrow, and in the coming year to continue developing their authentic leadership journey. Authentic leadership is built on self-awareness, integrity, emotional intelligence, and meaningful purpose. Leaders who remain true to their values inspire stronger trust, healthier relationships, and long-term organizational success. By understanding themselves deeply and empowering others sincerely, authentic leaders create positive impact that extends far beyond the workplace. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.